about we switch it up with a little drum and fucking bass?
How you doing?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
Wow, that's awesome. Why are you feeling so good?
I'm actually not, but you know what? It's funnier if I said that.
I'm feeling awesome. With all my depression, it makes me feel alive. And I gotta fix that.
I've gotten so suicidal and depressed that I'm actually just fucking ecstatic now.
If I get so incredibly depressed, I'll get to the other side. It's like digging to China.
If I get angry enough in my own life, I'll be so excited in how many ways I can kill myself.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm banking off of you. Banking off of you.
Hanging off of me. Wow, that's
Banking. Listen, you dumb. Listen, you dumb.
Listen, you dumb. You. So, I gotta start this episode off by saying, I am depressed because my D&D campaign is finally done.
Oh, congrats on that.
Yeah, it's been 3 fucking years of that shit, and it's finally done. Yeah.
Okay, here's my first question. Did you expect it to end this way?
You mean plot-wise, or how long it fucking took?
Either or. I would prefer plot part in particular, though.
Okay.
The plot part.
Yeah. So the plot-wise, I always have that mapped out because it's just like people can only make so many decisions, and unless they're like insane people, which I like when they're insane people, then I can like do shit and be like, oh, okay, I'll move this around and I'll cater to your guy because that's what you want. But if they don't interact enough for things to change or like for factions to get like powerful and stuff, you know, then it's like you're not really changing the world. The final boss is likely going to be one of 2 people, and I'm prepared for it. You know, if you put in the work beforehand, like you're good with any and all choices they could make, unless they're really random, in which case that's awesome.
Okay.
But when I first did my campaign, it was during 2020, so we literally did like 40 sessions, and it was a full story, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I remember you're working on it, or
Yeah.
I remember when you were like developing it and the depths you were going for it.
Yeah, it felt really amazing. It's like when we used to do our things, it was kind of like, oh, I just imagined this. Now I can put it into action, and it's fresh for everyone, and it like felt good. Because then you also knew where their characters were at and like how fun they were having, and it was like so good. But then it's like you prepare and shit, and then it's been a year, and now these ideas are stale, and you keep getting new ideas, so you want to throw them in, and then it gets to the point where like you're trying to balance a plot where no one is like people are forgetting shit, they're not interested, like yeah, and it's just like this whole balancing act thing where it's like you as the creator, if you forget anything, you're fucked. And you have to do a million things. And it's like, okay, so I have this dictionary of everything that they could do.
Right.
And they will not choose everything because they want it to be over with. So I've made like 10 times the amount of content that they will never see.
Yeah, honestly, like I know exactly what you're saying because that's what my fear is. Anytime I ever look at the campaign, I've been thinking through for like the last 10 years, and it puts me in like a perpetual cycle of fear of putting it in that position where I fudge something early on and I can't pay it off afterwards, like into the story, or I can't like actually deliver on what they're hoping for, and then it just becomes like a waste for everyone. You know, I'm afraid of of that happening. So like, massive props that you're willing to put yourself through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so fun. I mean, I remember when you and me used to do our thing, and that, like, was the whole spark for it. Like, it's just basically playing pretend, and that shit either, like, you grow up and you're like, wow, we sure were fucking ridiculous. We sure were, like, I used to have a friend, and we played Harry Potter College.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how good do you think that shit was? How many character arcs do you think there were about self-inserting yourself into Harry Potter?
Probably very limited at however many movies there were to work with to begin
And then and
with.
then just shoving other things that you like in there, like, oh yeah, fucking throw in Legend of Zelda in there, and then throw in this, and then throw in that, and it's like, okay, at this point, it's like a gag cartoon that you're live action role playing with your friend, and you're both like hitting like 12, and it's like, okay, well, this is working for either one of us or none of us, and unfortunately, it was working for only me. So, yeah, yeah.
And I feel like the moment you thought that to yourself, it finally turned into to none of us actually. Like
Yeah.
I also wanted to not play with you anymore.
Yeah, it was surprising that with you and me, it lasted so long. Like, yeah.
From like middle school into like, I think at least the beginning of college, right?
You know what? That's what this episode's gonna be about today. I had another topic in mind, but we're gonna do this.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember all of the different LARPing shit we used to do?
Uh, I remember a few key ones that I we definitely remember at the same time.
Oh yeah,
There was Bleach. That was the first big one that we
that was the
completed.
yeah, the one before there was like some little tiny ones where we would play Dynasty Warriors and Dragon Ball.
That is true. Yeah, I remember the for the Dragon Ball one where we had like the storyline where we were going into hell to like save one of our souls,
There was some shit.
and yeah, and then I think either you or I were playing Cell, and then one of us was playing Trunks, super buff form, to like play our characters. But primarily we were just playing Tenkaichi 3 anyway.
Yeah, we were like doing like this whole thing in the background. It was like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was just like one guy is throwing the match, one guy is not throwing the match. It's just WWE, except we're
Yeah.
15 and just making shit up.
How many times can we reuse the ultimate move and pretend it's a new, more powerful ultimate move?
Yeah, and then just being like, oh no, I'm being hit by it. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can keep the plot going. That's true. Alright. I guess one of us is going to fucking get hit by it and
Yeah.
then grab another old person character and be like, I will be your mentor, and this is my little thing. I have an adjustable dick.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm Grandpa Gohan. I mean, I am your grandpa trainer. There we go.
I am your grandpa trainer, except this time I'm more racist, so it's funnier and edgier and works off the Wow, nice, right? Looks at the camera. Oh, great writing. Uh, yeah, working those
Yeah.
first writing muscles was something.
Yeah, I think at the very least, it made me realize that I very much am only interested when it comes to like, what's it called? Like world building rather than people, and it would be a long time before I ever delved into that. At least I know, at least for me, I know you actually were able to create a lot of characters and a lot of fleshed out ones at the same time.
I remember there was a time for the Bleach one where you sat in a corner for like an hour because I was acting with myself trying to tell you a backstory that did not fucking matter.
Was that the hold on. Was it when we were learning about like the Arankar lords
There's
and the
some bullshit.
or
Yeah.
some sages like a new secret Arankar that we made up for the
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah. And then it was just like I mean, I'll give myself credit for it at the time that like, wow, what a little imaginative boy. Jesus, man. It's like you think like you don't realize that less is more.
Yeah, but I always remember it fondly because even if it was a lot of throwing it at the wall,
Mm.
it was there was a sort of blissful lack of awareness that it was just enjoyable because we were just appreciating Bleach for what it was at that point.
Yeah, yeah, and we got the whole vibe correct. There was like one thing where like you did a thing, but it was like two hangouts worth, and I was like, "What? Oh my god! Oh, I've this is the one time that I'm not writing it. Oh man, there's got to be more." And you're like, "No, there isn't." And I'm like, "Fuck." And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a special place in my heart, at least for that story.
yeah,
Um, but after that, there were three separate Final Fantasy stories,
yeah,
only two of which I believe we actually completed.
yeah.
And after that, I don't know if there was anything afterwards. At that point, like,
We were 20.
yeah, and we were kind of pushing like whether or not we wanted to just revisit the old stories. I know you started like seeing how like you could reformat one of those stories into something like more usable for like either a TV show or some kind of
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it was like dissecting something that from the very beginning was like not like you'd have to rebuild it from the ground up and not just be like this is a trend happening right now and I'm a stranger with no connections in the industry.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of uninspired a little bit here and there. Um, but that being said, I do think that the best exploring of this can do, what can we recount all the plot points of that original Final Fantasy one, which I think we did for like 2 years. What do you remember of all the things that happened in there?
Okay. First, I'm fairly certain that it was like a sort of school setting where it was the characters Shun and Gan.
Let's never say those again. Let's just say let's
It's
just
out in the
pick.
void.
Oh god, it's so
It's
cringe.
again that blissful ignorance. I liked it. I enjoyed it,
Well,
even though I literally just stole the name from Dynasty Warriors.
let's just go and say like your main character and my main character because
All
that
right,
shit is cringe. I already am
I'm
like,
sorry.
all right, I want to shut the podcast up. This is
Right.
awful.
Sorry,
God.
Sean's girlfriend. I don't mean to.
Uh,
You see the embarrassment now that we provide each other.
yeah. God.
I know that there's so much just like storyline that was happening that we were trying to hit the finding the airship, finding out about like I don't know if it was like a rebellion or some group that we decided to work with to fight against the
Mm,
like the school that was the evil organization.
mm.
And eventually each of us finding like our own specialty powers that were heavily inspired by just like other media at the time, like
Yeah.
Asura's Wrath, Bayonetta, and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And and we had our own sort of like pseudo DLC where we fought against the One Piece crew.
Right. Yeah. And like other ones, Captain Falcon and other
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
It was.
But the one that the well, one of the things that I weirdly remember the most of was having like the courtroom battle where it was like Phoenix Wright inspired, and we were trying to prove whether or not we actually murdered somebody. But
Hold up,
like,
I don't remember that.
you don't remember that?
No.
At the end of it, I remember you said that like the whole point of that scene was just to like like either stall or something because like they were just gonna fake the footage anyway.
Oh,
But we were just like having like a Phoenix Wright moment, and we were just having a good laugh.
yeah. Oh man, you're
Yeah,
right. It was a little tiny thing that was supposed to
yeah,
take like 2 minutes, but you got into it, and I was like, oh wait, this is fun.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we still went on the run anyway. I think we were running away from, was it Gregorio or something?
Ah, woohoo! Oof.
Was it?
Okay, so should I say what I remember of the whole thing? 'Cause
Please,
I remember a lot.
please do.
So, at the beginning, it was like, it was a school thing, but for some reason in the military school where you learn how to fucking cast spells and shit, the teacher was the prince of the entire kingdom for whatever reason. Um, and then and it was like a Naruto squad of three. It was your main character, my main character, and girl character, which is stupid. Um, and then like the king got murdered, and the guy named Gregor, of course, named after the Metamorphosis character, from the book. Like,
Of course.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's gonna be a good guy for sure.
Yeah.
So he's the guy who kills the king, and he's just like, hey, the prince and the other guys did it, and it's like, okay, we have to flee the country, and of course, you all fled via explosion. Like there was a giant explosion that sent you to Australia.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh my god.
like, what kind of thought? And everyone lived. Everyone who's in that explosion lived. And it was like the size of a nuke.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What the fuck? And we're 1% into the story right now.
Wait, hold on. Didn't he use Gravija? Like it was
Yeah.
like
This thing that Sin used.
yeah, like
Fantasy 10.
and like you made it like the next level of like Firaja was like the most powerful version at that point for
So
us.
it was a super nuke. You
Yeah.
fucking idiot. God
It's
damn.
great.
It was so stupid.
That will teach them.
That'll teach you, bitch.
I hope nobody's recording this and putting this to the media.
I hope nobody Yes, all maybe 10 people if we're lucky. Then we just reenacted Final Fantasy X for whatever reason, and the Bahamut kid kept talking about potential, so that it was a heavy-handed, like metaphor.
Wait, what was the metaphor?
Oh, he was just like, oh, your potential. Oh, potential.
Potential. This is a metaphor. Potential. This is a metaphor.
And then it turned out that like it was stealing from like your life that you'd have later on. Like you had to sacrifice your lifespan, which is just One Piece shit that we're repurposing. It's
Yeah. I mean, it was a love letter to the media we were taking in at the time. And like, I think it's great that way.
okay. So
Ugh.
I think then there was a big city area, and my character came back, but he was unable to not be angry.
Right.
Yeah, and he had Hulk powers where he got more and more powerful as he got angrier and angrier, which never stopped. So he just became more and more of like a ticking time bomb, which is a cool character concept, but just too edgy.
It could have been done well. I think for the most part, it was good.
Yeah. Okay, so then for some reason everybody finds each other again, and then
Yeah.
there's an airship somehow.
How did we get that?
Oh, and then there was that guy, Shizu, and he was from like South America, and he was there, and he threw a boomerang that was just like a bladed boomerang. And he just threw it around, and he was Mexican and he was a drunk. Really good look.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was an interesting choice on our parts.
That was all me. And then remember the fucking the gang member called Apache, and he was just a black guy. Oh,
I remember I made him up, but I think I made him for Bleach.
oh God.
Yeah, he had the
Oh.
fucking scythe because I was really, really into Soul Calibur 3 at the time, and I really liked Zasalamel.
Yeah, and then I made him more racist because we were in a city, and your character needed to win the people of the city over. So
Oh god.
eventually, oh my God.
So was he like if in a way a reference character because he was both in the Bleach and the Final Fantasy story?
A reference to only ourselves, and he
Into
was then reduced to a stereotype again by us. God damn. Do you remember any of the things that happened in the middle of things?
It's really just snippets. I remember there was like the Metal Gear Solid scenario where I had to sneak around with like a bolt action rifle and
What?
getting into some base. You don't remember this?
No, continue. Please say that. Please, as much detail
Uh,
as you can.
I mean, that's most of what I can remember. I know that like it was some sort of like resistance group that I was like meeting up with, and they're like, "Oh, we can't make our presence known," and then we're gonna like sneak into the base. I don't know if we did like the ladder joke. Like we did, I don't know if we threw that in. Probably
You
not.
probably did. What a
But
thrill.
what a thrill! I got my bolt action rifle in the dark.
Oh!
What a thrill! And I also remember that there was a haunted house that like that was a whole segment, and I
Oh,
remember I was
yeah.
actually terrified while we were doing it.
Yeah, I remember. That was a very
Yeah.
memorable segment. We went there 2 times.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Oh God. There was some little tiny character named Ryujin or something, and he was like a joke character that you were always stronger than. And then there was fucking Geo.
I remember absolutely despising him
Yeah.
when I back then, but I also now remember that I started like randomly remembering him and referencing towards you, and you were more upset.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can do his fucking cat. He was the mascot character.
All right, give your best one.
Oh, yosh.
Ah, it's just like old times.
I would speak because mascot characters were so big. I was like, we need a mascot character. And he's a little boy, and it was like the idea was that as he gets more powerful, he gets cuter. So he would walk around like this. Hello. And
Yeah,
it was
and the little kitty face whenever you drew him was
yeah.
a staple. Look,
Uh,
I don't think he was a bad character for doing that. I just I didn't know how to interact with him without it being always weird.
yeah, no, the whole thing was weird. And oh, what's the other thing? Whoa! Yeah, that like, which is just curly except trying to make it cute. God, so awful. Really bad. 0 out of 10.
You're out of 10. Would kill him again.
Yeah. Okay. So if I can sum up everything that happened, there's a bunch of fucking around, and then it turns out that they're like, the whole thing that's happening is that magic originated from an experiment that caused the apocalypse, and we're in the post-apocalypse, but we can't remember that there was a pre-apocalypse. North America was medieval. South America was South America. Australia was Final Fantasy X. Asia was like a big peninsula, and they were very Asian. And then Europe took over Asia, and they were mostly a giant city with outskirt rural area. Am I missing
Hmm.
anything?
Not offhand that I can think of right now,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I didn't remember the fact that like certain countries or certain continents were reforming themselves. I
Yeah.
mainly thought it was just like the remnants of humanity in a sort of general sense. I knew it was post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
like Earth, but more so I remembered like some of the abilities that certain people had, and like the definitely remembered the introduction that we had. That was pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah. And okay, so what eventually ended up happening plot wise, because it's like, oh, hunt monsters. Oh, try and talk to people so they'll like you. And then what I remember is that all of the monsters were being produced by like people who turned into like little mini gods, and there were seven of one on each continent, and they were trying to take it over. And the big plan of Gregor was that he knew one of them was in the sun. So he was gonna absorb all of the other ones and become a giant monster himself, and then absorb the one in the sun, and then blow up the earth.
I forgot about that part. Man, that flew under honestly for me.
Yeah, because none of it makes any sense, and it's just like, oh, it's the monster of the week. Okay.
Hmm.
And the fucking okay. And then I believe the big thing that was actually interesting was that there was seven characters, um, and at the end of when everything was going to shit, it was that the other six characters had to defend an entire continent by themselves.
Hmm.
And then you had to take on, or your character had to take on Grigor, and it was like a thing where like he was winning, and it was like this whole thing where while you were fighting him you were like seeing what was happening to everyone else, and it was like very powerful, cool moment. Doesn't matter, you still beat the shit out of him, and then he flew
Yeah.
into the sun. And then the airship turned into a rocket, of course.
Yeah. I also the only I remember the one big thing from it all was that since it was a prequel to
Mm,
the other two stories,
yeah.
all the characters that were quote unquote the good characters or the protagonists of that game
Mm,
were actually the villains of the first game that we were setting up,
yeah.
right? And like
Yeah. Yeah.
each of the bosses we were coming across, we were meeting all of them, and then you basically created like a fleshed out story for their past, which was really interesting.
Yeah, well, I like that you like that. It was literally
Yeah.
just taking Fallout and putting Final Fantasy monsters in there, and then being like, remember this boss here that I said was more powerful? Well, this is what they're doing now, and now they're not just yelling at you.
Yeah, good job. You finally paid attention. Now it pays off.
And it only took 3 years. I really like doing that, taking 3 years to tell a good story when anyone else could tell one in 5 seconds.
It's you know what? It's the same way that people said it about One Piece, and now look at it. Fucking
Yeah.
hype as shit.
Oh
But
wait, I remembered the big thing. It was that Gregor wasn't even important because the god literally named on his whole thing Lord, he after the apocalypse happened, he came by and gave everyone magic. And
Mhm.
because of what you did saving the world, he then decided to that he had to you've become too powerful, so he has to kill you. So you grabbed him in the final moments, and you slam him against every single reality there is.
right.
It was like to that was pretty cool to
Yeah.
grab God and slam him in a multiversal hit, and that was before the multiverse was like a big popular thing.
Yeah, because we were definitely into like the whole Marvel cinematic at that point.
No, we did that before that.
I no, hold on. Like I know, like in high school,
Mm.
uh, I know at least for me it was like sophomore year, I think, and for you it was I think it was junior year, right? I
Yeah.
think around that time was when it was like the Avengers, and like they were
Oh,
setting
yeah,
that
you're
up,
right. Oh, I
like
was just grabbing
just the
your
first
media.
one. Sorry.
There is no original idea in our entire thing. Oh, God.
Remember this always. There is nothing new under the sun that hasn't been recreated in the aggregate. Remember that. Because it's not about whether or not it's an original idea, it's whether or not it's actually well fucking done. Anyone can make up some stupid made up alien bullshit like and that's an entire fucking race. I don't give a fuck. But if
Yeah.
you can actually make it something that you care about, but it's like the most generic story ever, then that's fucking good.
Yeah. Tell me, what were your favorite parts that you could possibly remember from 10 plus years ago from this thing?
From the Apocalypse one, the prequel, I think I like the abilities of a few characters,
Mm.
two in particular that I could remember off the top of my head that were more interesting. One was someone that had like really powerful legs, like extremely overdeveloped legs and a bland body,
Yeah.
upper half,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he could like swim through anything. So it basically like he is not teleporting, but against like phasing through anything simply because he could just swim at anything fast enough. I
Yeah.
That's fucking great. I don't know why. It's a stupid ability,
Yeah.
small stupid one, but I enjoyed it.
That was like a one session character, and he was just like, I can swim through land. That's good. That's great.
Great. The second one was it was a Sanji inspired character that had like an ice theme to him. And I
Oh,
remember it was Sanji inspired because a lot of the music that was his like personal theme
yeah.
was like jazz music in particular.
Yeah.
And I thought that character and his abilities were really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like those two characters in particular, the ones that I
Wow.
could remember. And again, I liked the introduction because it genuinely felt terrifying that like I was just a regular human being
Yeah.
in like a dilapidated Earth,
Mm.
and I ended up dying and then coming back somewhere else, or at least I assumed I was dying at that
Yeah.
point, and I came back somewhere else.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
fun. It was the great idea of like, oh yeah, you died here. All right, now comes the and it was all based on when you were going to die and then it just is going to go to the next part of the story. That was something that like by us doing all that shit together, I like birthed a cool idea with that.
yeah, yeah. God,
Yeah.
good reminiscence.
Yeah, man.
Um,
I
and I
thought
remember. Oh, go for it.
the story that I'm working on now that I'm gonna like write a book about is based on your story. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I remember.
yeah,
Ah,
you did a really good job with the setting, and I was like, all these characters are really good, but I think they would be amazing as like very funny characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You were actually able to make something out of it. I got like lost in all the sauce that I was like throwing around everywhere.
Space is a lot. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you gotta limit it or make it like if you can't make it funny, then it's like, oh, what, another Star Trek? Or are you doing a family story of Star Wars, which is
Yeah.
like, why is it even in space? You just, they go to Taco Bell Cantina, and, you know, it's like, no, the point of it was medieval, common medieval story, but in outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as I was thinking through a lot of my thoughts, it was calling back to the first iteration with like the school setting that we were all learning to like be part of the academy. but it like melted into how I adored the setting of Valkyria Chronicles, and how it was effectively a militia that was straight out of school and having to like take on like a massive responsibility in wartime.
Yeah, basically very Battleship Troopers. Was that
Yeah.
inspo?
Definitely, because I started thinking of like this is like an army that like the main characters are basically leading into this battle. Because like we've already done a lot of the stories where it's just like the individual taking on the individual and like how they become super beings. But what if they have limitations and the only way to break those limitations is like the powers that you find in other in the collective, I guess. I was finding a lot more interest in that, but problem was I had a lot of these cultures that I was thinking through of how they would like add on to the army, but I didn't have characters that were actually, leading the charge into the story. And then it started to reinforce just how little development I actually created for them outside of the inspiration for their look and their ability, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think all of the things that are like everything that we've learned from making stories together and throwing what we love boils down to simplicity.
Hmm.
Like the longer parts of the stories and stuff, not that the big grand things. It's like that's not very memorable. It's not very interesting. The more
Hmm.
vulnerable, the more simpler, the more
Yeah.
simpler. Very cool. The simpler everything is, the more A, relatable it is, and B, the more invested you end up becoming.
Hmm.
And I think that that's something that both of us have learned from this. And
Yeah, definitely. If anything, it also gave me an appreciation for developing emotional through lines for a storyline. Because, like, you can have an interesting world, but if you don't have like the passion or the energy of people behind it, then it's ultimately just flavoring for nothing. It's just sauce for no entree. So I appreciate learning that from you.
yeah, and I've learned from you that like it like you can have a million ideas and shit, but it's like it's all about putting out in a good situation. Without a good situation, what's the fucking point? You know?
Hmm.
Yeah. We've had a lot of fun together, dude.
Yeah, I only remember it fondly.
Yeah. We should make more stuff together.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I do like the idea of like, still world crafting, and if anything, I would have a lot of fun making like a semi-serious sort of like D&D world or help develop one.
Yeah, we could do that together. I'd love that.
I'd be delighted. But you're running it. Ha! I got you. I got you. Sit down.
All right.